believe it or not, yeah, they are the biggest target. Think about, I mean, I'm not saying you're an actor or a bad actor, but think about it. If, hypothetically, you're a bad actor, right? You don't care about someone that is not able to approve anything, that cannot approve an invoice, make a payment. You want the guys, the big fish, the people that can actually approve payments. And believe it or not, it happens a lot, but you don't want to be the one. I mean, how many executive vice president would you announce that they mistakenly paid somebody 15 grand or 100 grand? It happens all the time. The same way you and I are susceptible to all this online phishing campaign, leadership fall victim all the time. In the past, you can always say, well, one of the ways to trace, all this phishing campaign is the language of these people are bad, blah, blah, blah. Ladies and gentlemen, that problem has been solved with AI. Now, the threat actors are going to use AI to make the language flow well, like good English. As a matter of fact, sorry to say, they even make it so real with your voice. They use deep fake now. So I can record your voice or listen to your voice, record it, and use a deep fake to simulate your voice, and it will sound like your voice. So now it's so crazy that people are going all into be malicious right now. So it's crazy, right? But that's the reality, the normal right now. So it's important to customize training to your leadership for sure, your development team. So in an interview, I would like you to say that, you make recommendation for development of custom training for your leadership because they are susceptible to such attack, to your software developers, because think about it, these are the guys or ladies that are writing the code. So they are easy target. But if we train those folks, we can get them ready for the kind of attack they would see so that it's unique to them and their situation. Because most trainings you see out there will be general trainings, right? General security training, awareness training. But we also recommend, mostly when we do assessment, customized training for leadership and your software developers also. Okay. All right. Just some general trends out there. You know, um, 2018 GDPR took effect, 2020 CCPA, another one, American Data Privacy and and Privacy Protection Act took effect, ADPPA, in Congress in 2023. So there are so many regulations out there kicking in. At the minimum, let us be aware of those regulations. Okay. Okay, let's go to the second slide. And again, I send this slide to us so we can just have access to it. We can, you know, um, use it to give you some good context also in general. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay. A few of them you might be a little bit redundant, but they're equally good. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to share both. All right, let's talk about it real quick. Let's go to the next one. This one is very interesting. Love it. Okay. Okay. Data privacy and impact, privacy impact assessment. Let's talk about this real quick. Um, so this is getting to, the general overview of data privacy, the introduction to privacy. There's some key principles around it. Let's get into it. So for starters, 1970, we had the Fair Credit Report Act and Fair Credit Report also has element of to protect our privacy of our personal data in credit reports in general. 95, we had Directive 9546 EC, which was adopted in EU. 2000, we had Safe Harbor Law, right? These were much more older before we transitioned into 2018, which was the GDPR. But this is just some historic context, right? Safe Harbor was the big one out there you know, um, when we transferred data between US and Europe, it was a mandatory thing then at that point in time. Privacy is not an option and it shouldn't be. The price we accept for just getting on the internet. So it's not an option, right? Because people take it serious. There are a lot of law firms out there. That is their focus. There are a lot of lawyers, that's their focus, they're privacy lawyers, you know, and that's their bread and butter. They figure out the newer changes in laws at the federal, state, local level, geopolitical level, and that's all they focus on. So if you mess with those privacy laws, there are people that that's their job to just track it. So just be mindful of that. How many of us have heard of this gentleman called Edward Snowden? Let me just open the floor. Let's see what you guys think about this guy. Where's this? So okay, let's see. How many of us have heard of Edward Snowden? The floor is open. Let me see what you guys think. Okay. Somebody said, okay, got it. So for those of us that don't know who Edward Snowden is, as well, Edward Snowden worked with the U.S. intelligence for many years. He was with the CIA for many years. And one of the things he did was he took copies of highly classified and sensitive information as a subcontractor, and he disappeared with the documents, and he became a whistleblower, and he started talking about every one of the surveillance program we had in the US. And not just the US, I believe, even our Canadian partners, because there's a lot of joint programs done, right? So he really exposed the means of technical operation. It was bad. It was bad. I mean, it's it can't get worse than that. And unfortunately, guess where he traveled to? Your guess is as good as mine. He went to Russia, right? So, and you think the Russians would just say, "Oh, don't worry, would no." So all those files, data, it's a big national security compromise, right? It was a big deal for us in the States. So that's a big one. So that's Facebook, um, American social media network. They've had their fair share of privacy violation. It's a big one for them. I think even this year they had a violation that led to billions of dollars of pounds or euros that they had to cough out. All right, let's talk about some devices out there that are common in terms of privacy violations. One, when you use your phone, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many privacy settings now that you have to be very cautious of, like your location, your browsing history, your public data. Every one of these things are so critical today. Your webcam. So for those of us using webcam, it's a good idea practice. Always have, if you don't have there are protectors to your webcam, or you can use tapes. Just put it in front of your webcam. For your kids' webcam, also, put some tapes in front of it because they could be easily violated. So, and there are so many softwares now that can track and take over webcams. It's a big problem right now. Microphone, your recordings can be done without your consent. It's a big deal. So even a microphone, so on your laptop, desktop, somebody can take your microphone and start recording your conversation without your knowledge. Yes. And let me tell you one funny, crazy thing, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I didn't tell you to do it, okay? So full disclosure, a lot of these softwares, people buy them in the dark web, $15, $50. So it's not like, you're going to, people are finding some sophisticated way now. They buy them cheap because the production is pretty easy now. And the malicious actors, they don't care. They will just sell anything, any price, and that's it. So it's crazy. So we have to just do our part to do our due diligence. Your fitness tracker, like your Fitbit, your Jawbone, your Gemini, your Apple Watch, Samsung Watch, all of those devices, every one of those also, your privacy could be violated really, because I can track all your information, your health record, your walking, your steps, the location you walk to, and that can be used to determine and even do malicious things to people physically. So it's a big deal, right? Your smart devices at home, that is another crazy one. So your fridge, your TVs, your ring, every one of those devices you connected to the network can potentially be compromised. And you would never know for many, many months, you know? So, something to just to be mindful about. And your information, your privacy data, your um, sensitive information can be collected without your knowledge right now. I was in a conference, like I mentioned this week, and one of the gentlemen I met, he's also going to be coming to our program. You know, he was his organization, they focus on ethical hacking, and he was telling me about some things that they do that I was just cringing at. Seriously, yes, it's crazy what people can do right now. And to make it worse, the tools to do it are readily available with minimal expense. These guys can do so much damage, which is crazy, really. Credit card, you know, believe it or not, that's why PCI is a big one, DSS, because your credit card information reveals a lot about you. I'm sure most of us that watch all these movies, you'll notice when a crime scene happens, the first things people in the intelligence community do is they check if they can figure out where the credit card was activated. They can use geolocation to figure out the terminal the person went to last. They can figure out if they went to an ATM machine. These are devices that you can use to track a lot of things. So it means your sensitive information are still captured when you use your credit card information. So these are popular devices out there. We should be mindful and know that these are some of the biggest sources in which our information can be compromised big time. All right. So there could be more, but these are the popular ones out there. Like we said earlier on, regulation wise, GDPR, CCPA, 2 years apart. But these are big ones we have to make sure we always comply to also. Big companies that are, always thinking of privacy because if not, it's trouble. Facebook, Google, Apple, Microsoft, these are big players in the industry that it's a big deal for them. Rightfully so, because they capture tons of data from we users, right? And in general, generally speaking, another thing is when we do a privacy impact assessment, a simple way is, we scope what exactly we are trying to do, which you'll see in a bit. We map it, you know, we do the analysis itself, check the controls around those specific areas, then we do documentation and provide appropriate recommendation also. On the accountability side of things, if there's a need to improve your PIA program, then you have to define who's responsible for it. Now, let's keep it simple. So, for example, if you were part of our internship program, we had a hospital system that deployed MRI machine and CT scan machine. This machine captures sensitive information, right? Because of that, we need to make sure they have risk assessment. In reality, we also have to do one more thing, which is what we'll do today: privacy impact assessment. Meaning, how does what they do potentially violate our privacy? Because these devices are capturing data. So we want to check and do APIA, which is a big deal because at the end of the day, whatever tool you're bringing on board within my organization, I need to know, okay, how does it impact privacy? Your legal team, your general counsel, they need to have that information or else it's going to be a problem, So at least we do our due diligence that we did a PIA, okay? So that's the gist about it. Some general principle, fairness, we talked about it before, transparency, data minimization. The minimization is always a big deal. Just collect what is needed. If it's not needed, don't collect it. As simple as that. All right, let's see some other one. Okay, these are some very good examples of some key concepts in privacy. DPIA, data protection impact assessment. There's, it's a framework used out there. Then the actual PIA, which we'll do today. And there's another on privacy by design. This typically would be targeted to specific technologies or partners or practices. So you've designed a framework to target a technology. So most times it means they're just putting together unique questionnaires that address the privacy concern for that device specifically. I can think of some in my head now that I can say maybe might warrant a unique um, design. So let's say your AI model. If I'm bringing an AI model, now I'm thinking of PHI, PII. So I have to think about, okay, we have to do privacy by design to see what are the privacy implications of bringing this AI model into our environment. Okay. And these are just saying some of those methods in terms of the scorecard. PIA is lower, DPIA is much higher. The by design is much more higher in general. All right, so that's the eye level of it. So the next thing I want us to do real quick is I'm going to quickly share. I think I did already. Did I share that document with you all? We just quickly go to, let's see, did I share that document on the group? Let's see. Okay, GRC9. Yes. So you guys can take a look at, there was a document opened that was, let's see. Okay, yeah, I got it. It's the Word document I shared in the WhatsApp group. So let's talk about that briefly before I make you all go work on it. Let's just talk about it briefly. Then we can. Okay. So what we did here, okay, this is a good one actually. All right, let me share my screen. Then we can work on it together. We do one or two together, then I'll let you work as a team. Where is it? Okay. All right, let me so we're going to use our CMMI model. Every environment is different. They can decide to use any other model to show the maturity or to see how the privacy of this organization is, right? So let's talk about what the story is. This is the pharmaceutical company. They are developing a new drug. It's a rare disease. The company plans to collect sensitive health data of participants of their trial. So that's a big deal, right? You're collecting health data from your subjects, right? The company recognized the data is highly sensitive because in clinical research, if you are, participating in a trial, they collect all your medical record, X-ray information, nurses note, doctors note, pharmacy reports, everything about your life technically is collected, right? So it's a big deal. Um, outside of regular, clinic time, research is even worse because it's going to collect tons of data about you that is just from every source of, you know, um, doctors or care provider that you've ever seen. They'll collect all of those information from every source as you participate in those trials. So it's a big deal, very big deal. So, so because of that, they recognize, okay, these are sensitive information. Therefore, the company has decided to conduct a PIA to identify potential privacy risks and develop appropriate control to mitigate the risk. So these companies are aware that, okay, this is a big deal. We want to, make sure um, we can have a solid PIA assessment to make us comfortable. The information you are collecting is in compliance with our privacy laws. That's the whole gist about it, okay? And they are using a system to collect the information, right? So for every one of the questions they asked, there was a response. So based on the response, you will tell me what you think. Then at the end of the whole questionnaires and everything, you decide and tell me, do you think this um, system is adequate to be used for this trial? Let's take the first one. What is the purpose of, let me see if you are seeing my screen just to be sure. Yeah, I think we are. Do me a favor, if you can see my screen, give me a thumbs up, please. All right, thank you, Tommy Tracy. Okay, so we're good. All right, okay. Let's take the first one. What's the purpose of data collection? All right, they said to collect data from patients who participate in clinical trial. Okay, fair. Management response. The company has not yet established a process for managing privacy risk, indicating an immature approach to privacy risk management. Okay, all right. So, okay. So I know this is bad. So I'll just say one. What type of personal data will be collected? Response. Sensitive data such as medical history and lab result. Okay, big. Then let me see their response. The company identified the types of sensitive personal data that are collected, indicated somewhat matured approach to privacy risk management. However, there may still be room for improvement in how the company identifies and classifies personal data. In my mind, I'll probably go with 2 here, right? Just because I'm feeling, guys, I mean, yeah, okay. They figure it out, but this is not convincing to me. I said, how will the data collected be stored? You know, they said data will be collected through online forms and stored in an encrypted database. That sounds good. Okay. They said the company has established a process for collecting and storing sensitive personal data in a secure manner, indicating a fairly mature approach to privacy risk management. However, there may still be room for improvement in how the company safeguard the data against potential unauthorized access and other security threats. Okay. So they said the collection process, the encryption is there. However, there might be worry about unauthorized access. Okay. I may want to be nice here and say 3 because they said there's an encryption of their database, meaning even if an hacker comes here and steals information, the data is encrypted and it will probably be useless to the hacker, right? So I'm making the assumption for them. Now you can tell me 2 is what you think is fine. That's okay. I won't ding you for that. That makes sense. But I'm just making some rationale. I'm saying, okay, because encryption is there, the risk has reduced a little bit. So I'll go 3 for that reason. And they said it's fairly matured, right? From what I've seen. Okay. However, there's room for improvement. So I'll just stick with my 3. All right, let me see how many more. Okay. So I think I would like you all to do the rest. I've done the first 3, right? I want us to do the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do the last 5 and tell me what you guys think. Um, and just have somebody ready to talk within each team real quick. If this makes sense, give me a thumbs up, please. And I've shared this with us. You know what? Let me share this version. Let me share this version with us in the group real quick so that we can have. I'll just call it version 2. So I'll share this in the group. I'll call it version 2. Version 2. Okay. So I'm going to share version 2. Please do me a favor. Once you receive version 2, just give me a thumbs up real quick. Let me go to V2. If you receive it, please give me a thumbs up. If you receive it, just give me a thumbs up so we can just work as a team real quick. Okay. All right. Thank you. So most of us have received it. Okay. So let's quickly work as a team. You get the gist. I've done the first 3. Let's work on, you know what? Before I work on that, let's work together on one together. Then I will now put us in a group. Let me share my screen one more time. Okay. So we've worked on the first 3. What do you guys think? Let me allow us to chat. 1 second. Let me allow us to chat. What do you think we should score this one? The question is who would have access to the data? They said only authorized personnel such as researchers and data analysts would have access to the data. Their response, the company has established access control to limit access to sensitive personal data to authorized personnel only, indicating a highly mature approach to privacy management. This indicates that the company has taken significant steps to protect the data from unauthorized access and use and misuse. What do you think? What should we score them here? You guys are awesome. Yeah. Now, you know, okay. Now, if you score 3, I can see why. I'll probably be fine with 4. Of course, on one condition, I would request additional information, like give me their policy around access control, right? So, so I can live with 4 with that assumption that I'm requesting additional documentation, right? So, because what they wrote here in principle sounds good. For me to get comfortable to give you 4, though, I'll probably make it wait contingent on me reviewing the documents that they said they have, right? So, that's the way I would kind of approach it, but I can live with 3 or 4, definitely. So let's just, for the purpose of exercise, we'll say 4. All right, cool. So let's work on the last one, two, three, four, the last four. All right, so I'll put us in a group, but at least we worked on one together. Let's work on the last four, and let's have fun, folks. Let's don't stay too long on it, okay? Just let's all right, see you all in a bit.